to $100,000, and then if you want to build on it, you build on it. Some of them haven't even bothered building on it. Some of them, like Joy, are just living in a caravan on it while she's trying to sort out what she wants to do to build. You know, like she doesn't know if she wants to build before changes because she doesn't know if she'd like what she builds. You know, the feeling she has is that I might build it and then not like it very much and then wish I didn't build it, and then, you know, so she's still a bit up in arms about what she wants to build. But they are working out some essentials, so you know, she's got some water, for example, of her own that she can use, and she's got a way to have a shower, you know, and all those kind of things. Yeah.
But it seems like we really need to decide, each of us, about am I surviving the Earth change?
Do I want to? Yeah.
And then you know, assuming, okay, yeah, you get there, you're really clear, it's in your heart, consulted with your guidance, all the pieces, then you can feel, I think, more fully, once you embrace, I want to be here, where you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
where you're really drawn.
Where do I want to be?
Where do I want to be?
What's going to... well, I think the next question, rather than where do I want to be, is more, what are my desires? What are my real desires?
Okay.
And I feel that's the question that will tell you where you want to be. Does that make sense? So you want to be where most of your desires can be fulfilled. That's where you want to be.
Right.
You don't want to be in a place where none or very few of your long-term desires are ever going to be fulfilled. So if one of your desires is you want to learn how to live in harmony with the environment, well, it's going to be a bit hard doing that in the middle of, you know, in the midst of Philly, you know. You know, or any major cities up here, really. Like, you know, it's going to be a lot more doable, perhaps, in the country.
Yeah, I know that's my desire. I don't even need to check in.
Yeah.
It's been my desire my whole
life.
And
I feel there are certain things that you know even right now.
Absolutely, 100%.
And then there are certain things that you're still not sure, you know, what are my desires. But the things that you know, you need to act upon immediately. Right?
Yeah, okay. And then there's the fears about, well, of course I have 3 children. So. And
well, the beauty of acting upon your desires is that your fears will automatically start coming up anyway.
Right, immediately.
So, you know, if your children are still going to school and everything, and your desire is to be more in harmony with the environment, so therefore live in a place where you've got more country and so forth, then those kids are going to say, oh, but I don't want to do that, and, you know, and then you've got all of your issues about how much you want to pander to your fear, how much you've been pandering to your children, how much you believe being a good mum is pandering to your children, and running them around and dropping them off at tennis and at play and at this and at that, you know, all day. And all of these are false beliefs about what a good mum is in the end that do need to be confronted. And in that process, some of these fears will come up and be confronted. But if you hold on to your desire and don't let go of them, you will confront the fears. If you allow the fears to dictate your desire, you'll try and modify your desire to suit your fear. And that's never a good idea. So what many people do is they have their initial desire, and then the children may all make their complaints, and then they go, oh, instead of moving to the, you know, just to give you an example, to the Tennessee mountains, I'm going to, we'll move just over here in Philly.
It has a nice little backyard.
There's a nice little place there, right? And really what you have done is not really accomplished much there, you know, because you've just compromised your desire, your pure desire, and your desire to survive, and your desire to be around after changes occur, and all those desires, you've just compromised a heap of them. But you've told them yourself that you've done it for the right reason, which is your family, when the reality is no, you've done it for the wrong reason because you believe that your family is more important than you are, and that's not true. Like, you know, they have the same importance as you do, not more.
You know, I was attracted to put this little center in Swarthmore, and I built it up, and I have, you know, all these people in my life that I are part of this community, and I would just basically have to unpluck myself and do it again.
Yes.
I did it, I gotta do it. I have to do it again.
Yes.
Some of us might unpluck ourselves as well.
That's right.
You know.
But again, you've got to decide whether you really want to do that. Like, you know, because you might decide, I don't really want to do that. I just would like to enjoy what I've created right now. And if that means that I pass, then I pass, and I just create a similar thing in the spirit world when I get there.
Right.
You know, so
I understand.
Like we don't have a stronger addiction to survival. We have a strong desire to make sure that we live in our desire, which is very, very different. And our desire is that we came to the earth to teach divine truth, and we want to stay here as long as possible and get it as firmly established as we possibly can before we leave. That's our desire. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it has to be yours. You know, that's and
I always made the assumption that I definitely wanted to stay, but I can't say I've ever really sat and felt about it.
Exactly.
Like you're saying, that needs to be done.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I feel it needs to be done.
I want to do that. Yeah.
So I feel first thing is, do I want to stay or do I want to go? Second thing is, what are my desires and passions? And am I fulfilling them right now? Where do I need to be to fulfill them? If one of my desires and passions is to stay, then obviously one of my desires needs to be to move to a place that's going to be relatively safe so that I can stay. Does that make sense? So that's a part of that second decision. Third thing is, what location in the areas that are going to be relatively safe is best going to suit me and my development of my passions and desires. Okay. So, you know, you may find, like for me, if I was here in the States, probably the place I'd probably choose is Arizona, probably for me, you know, or Mexico, because to me they illustrate, like, there's desert there, and I love to turn the desert into a garden. You know, I've got a lot of these kind of desires that are sitting there that I'd love to do. Whereas if I went to Tennessee Mountains, it's already quite green and there's plenty of rainfall, and you know, there's.
But if you're Kristen, she's had a passion for horses, so she'd be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Horse country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if it was you, I'd be seriously considering there. You know.
That's the only place that I'm considering in my heart. Like,
That's the Tennessee Mountains. Is that
like it's Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia.
Yeah, in that area. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it, you know, if I really enjoyed the wilderness and I really enjoyed sort of hilly wilderness sort of country that gets a better swing between cold and hot, and then I'd probably choose up near Maine, you know, on the border there between Quebec and Maine, if it was me, you know. So it just depends on what my desires were, like.
And if you're not attached to the particular a particular sort of terrain or, you know, geographical thing, then you'd look at, well, okay, what is my passion in life? Where am I being led in that passion? Like, I'd ask for assistance then to have, you know, law of attraction events to actually show you where you're going to be able to develop your
passion.
Yeah.
So it may not be focused on the geography of it,
exactly,
but you let the passion lead you and the
and you'd
law of
allow
attraction.
your spirit friends to guide you to the location, in the sense that you'd allow them to show you through a series of events what your passions are and what would be the best location available to actually meet those passions and desires. And I feel that's what I feel each person in the States, and I feel each person around the world needs to consider those particular three questions. Are the primary three questions to consider. And once you've considered those questions, then I think it'll become very obvious where you should be, and then it's a matter of just seeing, you know, anything we engage with our pure desire, things happen very rapidly.
Right.
Very rapidly.
I know. I have
You know, in
seen
Australia,
that.
there's been a terrible property market, for example, in Australia for years now, over the last 2 years probably, in particular. And most of the people who believed they would never sell their home, engaging their desire, they believe they'll never sell their home. One of the guys we know sold it in 1 week. Like, he thought he'd never sell his home.
Graham, yeah.
He sold it in 1 week. As soon as he knew what he wanted, within the
he
day he knew what he wanted, 1 week later his house was sold.
Wow.
Which is sort of unheard of at the moment,
Let's see how I found the center. Boom.
Yeah.
It was so clear. You know when it's just black and white?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It all fell together. The money, the location, the place. They took the lease.
It'll all feel together, fall together like that when you have a pure desire.
Yeah, this little spot here for you.
Couldn't find a place to live. Couldn't find a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be ready.
Well, I'm just sitting here smiling and kind of laughing because I'm thinking about what you're saying about Lawrence and how he's been prompted.
Yeah.
And I think about my desires to go to West Virginia, to go to Tennessee, to go to Kentucky, and how strong they've been for the better part of my life. To do things like go to the Kentucky Derby, which